Hello and welcome back to Tesla News. My name is Marian and I'm your host today. I'm glad to have you back on my channel. If you're new, do consider subscribing. I would really appreciate that. And we have to talk about Tesla and China. So what you see here is the Taiwanese situation with the red areas being the military exercises. Why do I talk about that? Because the area between the Chinese and the Taiwanese coast are also areas of shipments happening. For example, as well, Model 3 or Model Y to Europe. This is especially concerning for us here in Europe if there's going to be any issues in the coming weeks. Why do I talk about it? I have lived in China, I have friends from Taiwan and China, and I'm going to use the tweet of Ray for Tesla here, just to kind of get an idea what this means for Tesla itself. First of all, Tesla is very, very well known in China, and we have covered as well that the Chinese TV channels are actually using Tesla as a good example of being a company moving towards EVs, having EVs, and moving exactly in the trend that the Chinese government wants, the move from ICE cars towards EVs. And in China itself, Tesla is leading the EV market. But nevertheless, as we see based on the questions here, many people are worried about what's going to happen. The only thing I'm asking myself, what are people from Tesla going to answer you as an investor? There is no way they can answer you what's going to happen and what issues could occur. The only thing Tesla might do is have already a plan B in their mind, what they would do. But again, the situation is very complicated. So the plan for Europe would be, as I said many times, you have to have the Model 3 production in Europe. That is very important. So you kind of get a bit more independent of all these exports happening from China. On the other hand, you still have battery supply, and we have battery supply, for example, from CATL. And of course, the battery materials are also, many of them, controlled by Chinese companies. So it is a very, very complex situation. My personal opinion is that China, as I have lived over there, has many issues happening in their own country. If it's the debt crisis of banks, or if it's, for example, as well, the situation now, how the economy is working after all these corona shutdowns. So they kind of need Tesla to move towards this new trend of EVs. And Tesla is a good example they can use to do that. And so even though Tesla is an American company, I don't think that they will be dragged into this entire conflict and have to shut down, or the government will do anything. Again, this is just an estimation in my personal opinion. You can share yours as well. I have lived in China. I might be wrong. I might be right. I hope just that this conflict is not escalating, because that would be not such a good thing. For the Model Y production, again, Tesla could be producing in Europe anytime if they wanted to. I do believe that, but for the Model 3 orderers, it would be a big issue. Then we have the shipments, Morning Chorus being in the Suez Canal, the Glauvish Summit moving into the Suez Canal as well. Then we have the Herc St. Petersburg moving to Europe as well. And we're also going to look into a new ship that just went to the harbor in Shanghai. So in this case, it is actually working. We have production happening, and we have the RCC Antwerp being currently in the South Pier Harbor. Would be a candidate as well for the European market as well. As I mentioned yesterday, Australian people have received their first Model Y. Very excited for you guys. And we have as well some numbers here. So if we look into the Model 3 numbers, we see they have declined in Q2 due to the fact that, of course, the Shanghai production was down. I do expect this number to exceed the 130,000 per quarter after Tesla is re-ramping the production here in China again. But we do see, if we are looking in a moment to the Model Y variants, that of course with Austin and Giga Berlin only producing Model Y right now, we do see that the focus is towards Model Y. And despite the lockdowns in China, despite that, we had 131,000 cars in the last quarter. Again, all these numbers are from statistics from Troy. You do know his statistics, so check out his Twitter account. I do believe those numbers will easily go in Q4 to 200K easily when it comes to the Model Y. And I think then we are looking at kind of next year, I think, at the best-selling car in the world. Looking at the battery production, you see it gets along very well. I mean, it's getting fit together, and I think we are now at a time where we can see hopefully material moving inside to build up the production. Then we are looking into the Model S and X. It is very exciting for European customers. We have now delivery times for the Model S and X, so it kind of looks like we can really expect now the Model S and X to be delivered to Europe. And this is very important. We have a big luxury segment. It is very important that Tesla is going back into the segment as well. We also have the trailer hitch that is going to be included as well. That is some good news. And of course, I hope that the people that have now waited for over 2 years finally receive the new version of the Model S. I do know a lot of people waiting for it, so there is quite some demand. And I think once those people have received it and new delivery times come that are shorter, more people will order. Tesla has also done its own recruiting software. This is a fresh push to cut outside providers. So again, a way to save money and to have its own software. So that makes a lot of sense as well. And then we are also going to look not only at the battery factory here in Giga Berlin, but we're also going to look into the last news I have provided with you. It is the performance of the Tesla stock, which is performing, only Google is better, is performing very good, even though there's a minus of 11.8%. But looking at today's stock right now, at least, it looks like this could be even less. So just going back as a conclusion to the Chinese-Taiwan situation, I'm going to call it right now. There's a lot of risk at it, and it is way more complex than the Russian war in Ukraine. It is way more complex for Western countries because we have a lot of involvement, a lot of trade, a lot of stuff that we are dependent on when it comes to China. And on the other hand, China is as well dependent on us because they make money, their economy is working. Only if we are buying their products. So that is also something to consider. And so I believe there should be no interest either from the US or the Western countries or on the other side, China actually, to actually get a conflict that is stopping those trades. And I think and hope that this is not going to happen at all. Please do share your opinion. I would really appreciate that. And I do wish you a wonderful day. Do consider subscribing, and bye-bye.